Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're doing a medieval market sort of town. I guess really it's a hamlet with the size of it, but you could maybe pass it off as a village, but we're going to call it a town because that's the best I can do. But the temptation was really strong to make this into a Christmas sort of themed one, but I wanted something that you guys could use all year round, not just during Christmas. I haven't actually done a Christmas build, so wait till Christmas, I should probably get on that. But if you guys want one from me, I'm sure there's loads out there. I mean, I saw Simprove do one and it looks so amazing, so go and check that out if you do want a Christmas build. But yeah, if you want one, I can make one, but it is getting pretty close to Christmas, so I don't know whether I'm going to have enough time. But this is, I really wanted to do, you might have seen I did like an elven build where it was all up in the trees, and I still don't know how to say this properly, but is it like Lothlorien? I don't know. But a place from Lord of the Rings, basically. That was what it was. I didn't put it in the title, but it was a Lord of the Rings build. And in that, what I really wanted was down on the floor there to be like the market and everything, and people being able to sell stuff. I thought that would look so good, but we hadn't had the city living stuff out yet. But I really wanted to build it, so I did it anyway. Maybe I can go back to that build and edit it and upload a different, another version to the gallery which does have a market on it. But that's kind of what I've done in this build. So we've got like the olden houses all around in sort of like a semicircle. And one's got like a tower and stuff. But yeah, so I've kind of themed them around them maybe being people that would go off and travel around the world to collect items or possibly craft items themselves, and they would sell them in this part of the town. And also one of the buildings, the one on the left, that one's actually supposed to be like the local pub where and then it's got the house up above. So with a lot of these, it was a real struggle because I wanted it to be a community lot, because I knew that some of you guys would much prefer a lot like this to be a community lot. But I also wanted it to be, able to be a house lot as well. So you could have loads of Sims here, and you could, have them as medieval Sims that craft their own things and sell them and stuff. Actually, talking about that, I saw a guide or something on YouTube recently. I didn't actually click on it. I was meant to look it up so I could tell you guys about it, but I forgot. But it was to do with being able to sell things on a residential lot with the city living pack items, which I've actually put in this build. So, and I made, because they look quite modern, or I guess not medieval, I've made them look medieval. But yeah, so that's kind of what I did. But maybe you would actually be able to have this lot functioning in that way. Or it may just be you'll have to go to the city living and sell the goods there. But that is, I guess, the thought and idea is there. But yeah, so we've got the pub on the corner, and then this one with the tower, that one's supposed to be possibly a merchant that would travel the world to get their goods and stuff. And I've done like things in there which I've, at least in the tower, I've done things in there which I think that people would, like exotic things, I guess, would have been in this time, but really they're just things from different cultures, I guess, which we got in city living. And then this middle one, I actually made it so I thought that it could be, because I feel like in that kind of time, people wouldn't have had the money to have all the things that we have in this, day and age in their houses already. A lot of them didn't even have bedrooms to themselves, it was just all a big communal area. They would all sleep and they wouldn't really get a lot of privacy. And in that, I've actually, I have given them their own, like, enough rooms and things like that to fill up the space. But I kind of didn't give them any living areas because I thought that they would all go to the pub to, be social or out on the marketplace in the centre. And for the kitchen, I've only got one kitchen, and that's in that middle build, because I thought, you know, not everyone would have the resources to be able to do that. They just have like a fire pit which are outside and cook their own food, but I thought that maybe they would buy things from the market instead, or trade things, you know. So that was the idea behind it. And also I didn't want to put a tiny kitchen in every single one. I'd rather do a decent sized kitchen in one of them and have everyone share, you know. I thought that might be a better idea. But that middle one, I thought that the reason why that they had the kitchen was that possibly with the, you know, the outdoor retreat pack where we could make like not potions, were they potions? I don't know, the herbalism skill. I thought that that could be there, and they could do like little remedies and things like that. And that I've made a stand later on in the video. That's quite near the end actually, but I've made like a little stand where they could sell, like I've put the debug items on there so they could sell that kind of stuff. But this room here, or this build here, it was tricky because the roof obviously cut in, but I really wanted that effect because of the tower. It was tricky to make, you know, it look decent with the way it was anyway. So what I've done is actually the main part of that, which you can't see, is actually going to be storage area, because, you know, obviously everyone would have to store their stuff when they're not selling them, and especially if they go off and travel around and you know, get loads and loads of stuff, and they have to store it somewhere because they can't put all of it on the stand, you know. So that was the kind of idea behind it. So the bit where the tower is, that's actually a bedroom, and then around the back is actually a bathroom. And I'm pretty sure your Sims can all get through there, but the actual middle space that you can't see because of the roof, it's kind of just decorational anyway, so it's not really a problem. But yeah, it's starting to come together now, and we've got all the windows up and stuff. I actually spent a long time doing the windows and making sure that everything looked okay, because they were all different from each other, and I was kind of having this conflicting thing because I've used quite a lot of this sort of blue grey sort of colour that a lot of items in the get together pack were like, and I've done that in a lot of this, but I also wanted to use the brown as well. So we've got brown and the sort of bluey, blacky grey, charcoal grey colour. And so it's that combination and trying to get that balance and making it not look weird, because you've got like the mix match windows. So that was a bit of a struggle, but I think I managed to kind of do it, you know. But yeah, today we are going to, like, me and my family, we're actually going to put up our Christmas tree. It's a bit late, it's, you know, a week till Christmas. At least I'm doing the voiceover now. I think I'm going to process the video when I finish this voiceover, and it should be up this evening. So yeah, you should see it when I'm actually recording it, so it is a week till Christmas. But so we're only just putting up our tree now. But my sister's going to have to go back to uni this evening to just finish off some work, and yeah, and then she's going to be back for Christmas, so it's kind of like a time crunch this evening that we are going to all... We really... I think one of the best things about or putting up the tree, you do get some people which, you know, completely fine to be that way, but a lot of people make their Christmas trees like they have to be perfect, and we have to have all the baubles in the right place, and everything has to be, you know, spotless, and it has to be the perfect Christmas tree. Whereas, yeah, like I said, that's a fine approach to take, and if that makes you happy, then that's what Christmas is about anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But how we get enjoyment out of it is all sort of clubbing together and doing our own, you know, twist on things. And so, you know, we make some of our ornaments and we all put it up together, and we've got like little gingerbread ones which we decorated that we're going to put on the tree, and we've made we bought this these pom-pom makers, so we've made like little Christmas pom-poms as well, which are going on the tree, and loads of stuff. So we're all gonna, it's kind of our thing to, at Christmas, one of the best things about doing the tree for us is all doing it together as a family. It's quite important, you know. So we're doing that this evening, and obviously we want my sister to be there, so we have to do it today because she's got to go back to uni just to finish off some stuff. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that this evening. We've been listening to Christmas songs all day, and we've like put on a Christmas playlist. We've got the Michael Bublé CD. I feel like everyone has that. It's like the Christmas staple. But we've been kind of overplaying that. So I've got Spotify. So I have been playing some playlists that are Christmas related to get into the, the festive spirit. But there was also, we used to watch a radio show or listen to it because I used to live. We actually built our house from we had like a little bungalow and we doubled it out the back and added another story. So there was a period of time which was about 6 months where we weren't actually living in our house. We had to go and stay with my granddad. But it meant that for school I had to be up. We were already on the road going to school at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we start at 9, so that kind of gives you an idea of how far away we were. So we would listen to the radio every morning, and it was Radio 1, and it was the Chris Moyles show. And around Christmas they'd always play a song called Dominic the Donkey and it's the best Christmas song. It's awesome. It's like really, really stupid, but it's like, I don't know, it's right up our street. We always like put it on and then we just sort of dance around. It's a really, I don't know, to me it's a really silly song, but it makes me really happy, and it does make me sort of think of Christmas. And it's like I guess a family thing now, because we all really enjoy the song. But around Christmas time it used to be on every single day. They would do, they would play Dominic the Donkey, and it would be like a thing, and everyone who I guess watched this or listened to the show would really, really enjoy it. And it would sometimes be played like several times, because it's one of those things. It's like, just play it one more time, just one more time. It was funny, but yeah, we were listening to that this morning, and we did play it a few times, and we were sitting there, and quite traditionally British, but we were sitting there and we were all having like crumpets, and we were having our tea and coffee and stuff, and it was quite a relaxed morning. It was really nice actually, just to spend some family time. But we're also going to do some family time this evening, so it's going to be a very nice day. But yeah, let me know, have you guys, I did ask in a previous build whether you'd done all your Christmas shopping, and I think quite a lot of you said that, well, some of you said that you did, and some of you said that you were leaving it until last minute, which was kind of what I suspected anyway, because that's how it is. I feel like I feel like most people, it's like polar opposites. Either they've got it ready really, really early, or they've like, left it to the very last day. My mum is the type to do it really early, and my dad is the type to do it on did I say New Year's Eve? I've been doing that so much. I mean Christmas Eve. But yeah, this room I change around quite a few times. I couldn't, because it is a weird shape, and I wanted to have as much seating in there as possible, but not make it too cramped, but also have that kind of like, I don't know, old-fashioned pub feel. There's also quite a lot of in this where I wasn't able to make it, accurate. I don't know enough about medieval times anyway to make it completely accurate. But also there's things like, I do know that they wouldn't have had blue dye at that time, or at least only royals would, because it's so difficult to make. So they have blue bedding, and that doesn't really actually make any sense. But I just let it go, there's a lot of things that it would just make it. I wanted to do bedrooms, which I think you guys would like, and it was either that or like have all the bedrooms as being red or brown, and I wanted to have something different from those, because I did do a red and brown bedroom, I'm pretty sure. So there are a couple of blue bedrooms, and there are a couple of things which are blue, and possibly a lot of this isn't going to be accurate for many other reasons. But I tried my best, or at least I guess I was slack on some things and not on others. But I I just wanted to, have fun with it. Also, we've got the kitchen, like that mini kitchen in the back. That was still when I was, unsure on what I was doing. And I do take that away and I put like a games table there instead later on. But yeah, so that's the way it is. But yeah, I'm struggling to remember what I've talked about with Christmas so far, because I am very excited. I am really, really excited for Christmas. I love Christmas in this time of year. I think it's really lovely. And I don't know, I feel like even people, I mean, I'm not Christian, but I feel like quite a lot of people, it's become a thing that people just celebrate being with their families and, spending time with the people that you really care about, and giving gifts and things like that. I feel like it's become quite a national but also kind of international celebration, where people from all sorts of backgrounds celebrate it. So even if you don't, and that's perfectly fine, I still hope that you have a really, really lovely time of the year, But I'm not actually spending time with my boyfriend this Christmas. I'm not probably going to see him now until the new year, which really, really sucks. But last year it was lovely because we actually his sister, because he's Portuguese, his sister had actually went to go and spend time with family in Portugal, and his mum and his other sister were staying in England, and they actually celebrate Christmas on New Year. I almost did it again. I'm so bad at that. Christmas Eve. They celebrate it on Christmas Eve, but we obviously celebrate it on Christmas Day. So actually, what ended up happening was he celebrated Christmas Eve at his house, and then him and his mum and his sister came and stayed with us on Christmas Day. They drove down on Christmas morning to come and spend the day with us. So they kind of got 2 Christmases, which is awesome for them. But they got to, I felt really lovely because it was like, I guess, my 2 families almost. I got to spend time with on Christmas Day. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do that this year because my boyfriend's working on Christmas Day and Christmas Eve because of the, he's only just started at his job, and so they have a thing in their contract that if you're new or within the first 3 months, you've got to work on bank holidays, or a certain number of bank holidays. So that means that he has to work, unfortunately, which really, really sucks. But that's what it is, and it's just going to have to be how it is. But yeah, so but I have got relatives coming around. I've got my granddad and my uncle coming for Christmas Day as well, and obviously I'm going to have the main sort of bulk of my family there, and so it's going to be really, really lovely, and I'm really looking forward to it. But me and my boyfriend said that we're actually going to do a Skype call on Christmas Day so that we can still and open our presents for each other, even though he already knows what I got him because he spoils all surprises. he can't keep he doesn't like to keep, I guess, secrets maybe, but it was so bad because he was so close. He pretty much told me what it was, and he was so close to telling me what kind of thing it was as well, which one, because it was I have a Pandora bracelet and he bought me a charm for it. At least that's what he's told me, and he managed to sneak that much in, even though I really, really didn't want him to tell me anything because I wanted it to be a surprise, but he was so excited he just wanted to tell me and show me and for me to open it then. So yeah, the surprise has been spoiled a little bit, but I still want to open it on a call with him because I think that's going to be really nice. But yeah, it'll feel like I've been able to actually spend at least a little bit of Christmas with him almost, But we've pretty much done all of the upstairs and downstairs of that first house. So we've got a main bedroom up there and then also a kid's bedroom. That's the only kid's bedroom on the lot, but I think that possibly you could change one of these. Or even in this one, I've actually put in the cafe stand thing so that you can make this into a cafe lot if you want to. It will also be I think a lounge lot, it can be a bar lot. I haven't put things for retail, but it could easily be a retail lot. Like the TV and radio and stuff like that, I've actually put in the basement. You'll see that later. I make a little room and put, items in there, so it can still be those types of lights if you want to, but those items are in the basement, so they can't actually get to them. But so I put the cafe thing in here, so that it could be that lot, but you could easily make a big chunk of that space into a bedroom for someone. There's also the bathroom upstairs, which is pretty big in that build, that you can put a bedroom in there if you wanted to. I think there's a little bit of room to expand, or maybe there's quite a few double bedrooms. I think there's 5 bedrooms in total, so some of those have got double beds, so it could work out that you could have more kids in there or something. But yeah, this was the room that I was talking about with the area which I thought might be for like the herbalism. I think, is that what I'm really doubting myself. What is this skill called? Is it called that? I don't know, but I hope you know what I mean. The one from Outdoor Retreat, and you can make stuff with. But yeah, so there's a few wallpapers that I haven't actually used, I don't think. Like this one I don't think I've used. The one up in the bathroom I think is hideous. And I think the only places where I've really seen it used properly is like in Neil Simsey's fixer-upper builds, like the before versions. And they've got some like really horrible tiles or something, and it's all clashing. That's the only place I've really seen many people use them. Correct me if I'm wrong, I could be very wrong with that, but I feel like it actually somehow fit with that room, maybe because it is a medieval, or medieval in inverted commas, but so hopefully, it does look all right. Also, that's the thing, toilets aren't inside. They wouldn't be inside, they would be outside in a little shack, even if they had a toilet, They may just, take a dump outside. I don't know what would have happened, but I know that they wouldn't have had toilets indoors, but in these they do, so life of luxury. So very, very well-off Sims for the medieval times would have lived here, but We'll just brush past that. Let's just not pay attention. But it was one of those things, if I do like a little shack out the back for the toilets, firstly, it wouldn't look that great. And secondly, I think that it wouldn't be good for the Sims anyway. Like, they'd be off doing their thing, and then they'd have to walk to the same part of the lot. And if I was being realistic, there'd probably only be one toilet, which all of them were sharing. And, that it would be a disaster. It really, really would be a disaster. So I feel like the way that I've done it, possibly it's better and it works a little better. This is the wallpaper I'm on about. I haven't personally seen it being used, but maybe I should try and give it a go a little bit more. Use some of the stuff which I don't ever use in The Sims and make them work. If you have seen like some obscure items in The Sims which you don't see a lot of people use, but you've used and you think it works really well, tag me on Twitter. Like, I'm not always the best at replying to people or to everything, and I used to be, but I used to have a little bit more time on my hands. So, and it's tricky in replying to comments and stuff, and I do read a lot of them. It's just, I read them and then I don't have enough time to actually reply, because I want to put if you guys have put in an effort to, show me a video or show me some pictures of your blog or something like that, I want to sit down and really have a look at it. And even with comments, it seems like the longer the comment, the more I want to give back to the people which put the time in to do that, but it means that I put it off and I don't, reply to those people, and it's, like a week later that I end up replying, even though I've already read it and I remember and go back and talk to that person. But it's often one of those things, and I do feel bad for that. And I remember there are a few comments which I've read and I need to reply to, but just know that if I haven't replied to them, or right away, definitely, but at all, I've probably read them and I have really, really appreciated what you guys have said, because I'm actually very lucky. I pretty much, I mean, I'm probably, you know, going to change that right now by saying this, but I don't really get any hate on YouTube. I mean, sometimes I get constructive criticism, but actually I really like getting constructive criticism, because my channel has gotten better and grown from people which have helped me and said, you know, you could do this a lot better if you just did this. You know, that kind of feedback has helped my channel, because I've been able to improve, you know, the quality of my videos through that. But I'm very lucky, and maybe just people don't, you know, you know, maybe I'm just sort of that middle ground that people don't, you know, care enough. I don't know. But I don't really get any hate, which I'm really, really thankful for. So probably if you've commented something, I've read it, and it's, you know, it's probably made my day. A lot of the comments which I read really make my day and really make me happy, because, you know, how kind and sweet all of you guys are. And sometimes I'm not, especially with what's been going on with YouTube recently, with everything, you know, that's been going on. It's so easy as a creator to think that, you know, it's not the situation, that it's actually you, and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And reading your comments actually really, really helps me, and, you know, gives me back a little bit of confidence, and is one of the reasons why I like doing this. I know that I'm really bad at the moment with replying to your comments, and I really want to make and I've said this so many times, I really want to make an effort to reply to you guys more. But just know at least it does really make my day when I do read them, and I really do appreciate the time and effort which you put, you know, into my channel. I really, really do appreciate that. I don't say it enough. I like to sometimes, you know, with some things which I think are important, like telling my family members that I love them. If I think it, I need to, like, I try and say it, because I think that it's really, really important. And I used to be like that all the time, but I felt like I was just telling people all the time how much I loved them, and it was kind of getting annoying, so I kind of stopped a little bit. But yeah, I don't think it would be a good idea for me to say stuff like that every episode, or, you know, of things that I release, because it would get tiring after a while, and lose its, I can't think of the word, not efficiency. I'll just say an easier version. It would lose as much, like, it would lose some of the meaning behind it, I guess, if I said it all the time. But I do appreciate it a lot, you guys sticking by me and my channel. It does really mean a lot. But yeah, so stop being sappy, Zoe. But going back to the build, so we've got basically an entire blue room, so, you know, that's not great for, you know, not using blue dye. But this kind of room, it was really tricky not having sort of living spaces, because I really did want the pub to be the living space, you know, but this was kind of, I guess, and I don't know what you would call this room. I mean, maybe it's a skills room. I mean, it's got a desk, which I thought that someone might write important letters in, and it's got the piano. I feel like possibly it's just a look at how wealthy I am kind of room, you know, because in this kind of times this would be a very big deal. Yeah, I really wanted to put a piano in this build, just because I thought it would be a really lovely touch, you know. I feel like sometimes when we play Sims, we're quite career orientated, and we, you know, you only do the piano if you're doing the piano career, you know, and we don't, or the piano career, I mean, like the music career, and it's that kind of thing. But I think it would be really, like, it's nice that people, because they wouldn't have TVs or computers or stuff like that, that's really what they would do for fun. They would play musical instruments, and they would chat and probably drink. I feel like that was probably a big aspect of how they would get any fun, you know. But yeah, so they wouldn't have, you know, other things of entertainment, so I thought it was quite important to include it. But we're starting with the marketplace, so I've put in the I guess where you would put the paintings, that kind of stand, and that one does actually kind of look like it could be medieval as it is, but I do actually add something else from City Living to make it, I guess, a little bit more. Maybe I ruin it, but I keep sort of adding to these little market stalls, and I don't know whether they're going to work because they have so many items around them, but at least they look like more traditional, I guess. I put those little stools under so it hides the more, I guess, man-made or machine-made legs to it, and it has sort of the wooden thing. I mean, it's a bit weird having, you know, perfect white thing on the top. That wouldn't be very realistic, but if I put like shelves to cover it or something like that, then the items wouldn't actually stick to the table, and you know, it would be even harder for you to sell things, even if you know, you may not be able to, because I put those tables there to hide the sign. But with this here, I cut out some of it because there was a lot of fiddling. If you ever try and do this, it is quite tricky to get the angles right and the positioning right so it all matches up. But I was unsure on it, but I ended up changing the colours, and then I'm kind of more sure on it later on. But I thought I wanted flowers around the fountain in the middle, because I thought, you know, I thought that it would be quite good to have a fountain in the middle. Middle fountain is a mountain. But yeah, so I put the flowers in there, and I was thinking of doing them all, you know, like the natural kind of ones like I actually do with the rest of this. It's kind of just how I normally do my landscaping, really. But so I thought about doing that, but it would take up too much space around it for it to look good. So I ended up putting those flower boxes in because I thought, you know, they would be a little bit better. But who knows? Maybe you guys like it, maybe not. But I really like these side things that I put in. That's a good point. I should have said this earlier. There are a lot of things which I move up with the 9 key in this build. So you do need, like, I know it's easier just to go, when you're in world mode, to just click on a lot and place one there. But I'd actually, you know, to get the full, you know, effect of this lot, you would have to go into the lot, put bb.move objects on, and then place it from the gallery. I'm not sure whether all of it will place how it's supposed to. This is what I mean. It's kind of got a stone thing on the side. I don't know. That's not really realistic, is it? But that's what I wanted to do. I thought it made it look a little less manufactured that way, at least. What was I talking about? Yeah, so things will fall down. I've put things like I put some items on top of a toy chest. I've put things which are too big for the actual places on shelves and on like little side tables and things like that. So it may not work, you know, the way which if you just place it, I don't know whether those items are going to stay there or not. So the safest bet is to do that. You can even try it and see whether it works or not, and then if, you know, just leave those out. But if you do edit this lot and make it different, I'd also love to see that. I do love that. I love seeing people use my lots, because actually, if I'm honest, I don't really use them. I like building them and then I leave them. And I do sometimes play off in my own time, other than my Let's Plays, but most of the time I'm just when I play Sims, it's for videos, which I really like, because it feels like there's a purpose to me playing. I don't feel as guilty spending hours and hours and hours on Sims. I mean, that's actually one of the reasons why I started my channel, because I wanted to play Sims, but I felt bad, like I should be doing something else. But if I, you know, tricked myself into thinking, oh no, it's for this, it's, you know, I'm still doing work, I'm still being productive, even though I'm playing Sims. Definitely, that's what I'm doing, you know. It's helping me, you know, recover from my illness. That was what it was, as well, which, you know, I started my channel for. But yeah, so it was one of those things where it made me, you know, it gave me an excuse to do more with Sims. So a lot of the time that's the whole reason why, you know, I play. And I do sometimes, like I say, but I don't normally actually play just off camera. So a lot of my builds don't actually get played with, at least by me. So seeing that there's actually some other purpose to them other than me just uploading them to the internet and people watching me build them, actually seeing them being used, that's really awesome, because these poor little lots probably don't get used otherwise. So we put in, there's a lot of flowers. I use a lot of pink, I use a lot of purples, I use a lot of really girly things, but I don't know how well I edited this bit, so I'm sorry, but there may be a ton of scrolling through all the debug items because there are so many to try and find what I wanted to find. This was more of the stand where I thought that it would be the sort of knickknacks that you might find from around the world and things like that, you know, that's what I thought this stand might be, and the other one is the sort of more herbalism one, and it has, you know, produce on there and stuff like that, but this is the one where it's kind of like knickknacks that, you know, you might not find elsewhere. We've also got some seed packets, which is what I'm putting down now, and I actually put down a chocolate covered strawberry accidentally because I thought, you know, that's a strawberry, I'm going to just put down the strawberry, and I wanted to actually end up putting one of the herbalism books there. I really hope it is herbalism and I'm not, you know, I'm not just calling it this thing that doesn't even exist in The Sims, but I wanted to put a book there instead, and so I had to move it, and I didn't have a sim to eat it to get rid of it, so because it wouldn't delete, so I just put it down in the basement. So there may be a stinky floating strawberry in the basement if you download this lot, which I haven't actually put up in the gallery. I have to. I'm really bad remembering to put things on the gallery, actually. It's normally a few days late after I put in my videos and I get like a comment or something, and it's like, oh yeah, I still haven't put that up on the gallery. But sometimes I've fixed my game now, which I talked about in I think my Let's Play that I just did, the City Living one, but I talk about that. So my game's kind of fixed now, so I don't get any problems with, well, I haven't really got any problems or haven't been getting any problems with the gallery. Haven't really tested it out yet, but I will test it out to upload this for you. I'll probably do it straight after this voiceover just so I remember. I haven't actually taken screenshots or anything, so I need to do that anyway and go into The Sims and then put them in the video. So yeah, hopefully I'll remember then and I'll test it and make sure that The Sims can use all the objects and stuff. Just before I finish, because it is getting to the end, I just wanted to mention that the double beds, if you put them up against the wall, you can still get your Sims to have 2 people in there, but it means that the way that you do it, to have one Sim shuffle along, you actually have to make them go to bed at the same time. So it can be a bit of a faff to do, but you can get 2 people sleeping there. If you've got someone who's already asleep, you have to wake them up and then, you know, have it so that they both go to bed at the same time, and one of them will normally move over. So it does work sometimes, but it is a little bit of a faff. You can get round it, you know. So if you did want 2 people living in the like a couple or something which were living in the middle house, you could do that if you wanted to. But anyway, I think it's come to the end, so thank you guys very, very, very much for watching, and hopefully see you again soon.